We will not be held responsible for any hearing impairments or damage caused to you from excessive exposure to this sound.
Hey CJ, remember that one time?
Oh yeah, it was fucking epic.
You're listening to
Remember That One Time,
the Inappropriate Storytime Podcast.
and these are not your mama's fairy tales.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Remember That One Time with your hosts, Chris.
And CJ.
And this episode, we are jumping into Cruisin. We are cruising on down. The main reason this just wasn't on our brain, we're like, hey, we've got some great stories. Let's just talk about cruises. No, this one popped up because your CJ here just got off the ship. She is fresh off the boat.
I am.
And so she has got the majority of our stories tonight. I have cruised as well, but mine was in 2009, I think. So it's been exactly 10 years since, I think I went in October. So 10 years come October. So it's been a hot minute. We, of course, are addicted and we're planning to go again. But
yes,
yeah, I know. She would be on the boat right now if she could.
I'm addicted. I so would. It was amazing. Whew, it was awesome.
Yeah. And so since she has the majority of our stories, I will go ahead and start. As I said, my cruise was 10 years ago. The only reason I even went is because I quote unquote won a cruise through Mary Kay. But what that really meant was I won the opportunity to go on a Mary Kay cruise. It wasn't like all strictly for Mary Kay, but I was supposed to like attend seminars and have dinner with the Mary Kay people and pretty much stick to that group. And that didn't happen. We still had to pay for it.
Okay, so a Mary Kay cruise is not like a Disney cruise, like where everything is like Mary Kay.
No.
Like a ship shaped like the Mary Kay Cadillac.
No, nothing like that. It was just your regular cruise, but I won it through Mary Kay, and there was a group with other people that won it too. Okay, not won,
Gotcha.
earned it.
Oh.
To pay for a cruise, because we still had to pay for it.
Did they pay for anything? I mean,
we were able to get a discount through their travel agency.
Oh, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, they make it sound like, well, I mean, it's Mary Kay. They make everything sound better than it really is. It's your classic pyramid scheme, but I mean, that's just misleading.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, I won the opportunity to pay for my own cruise, and we were supposed to go to seminars and do all this Mary Kay shit. And me and Mom, like before, and I took my mom with me because I was still, 21, something like that. Well, yeah, 22. And I was like, I'm not going on a boat to Mexico by myself. I don't feel like getting raped and murdered. Thanks anyway.
I need my mommy.
Right. So I'm like, Mom. And then, so I took her with me, and I can't fucking talk.
You can never talk.
I know. It's like, it's funny on the podcast, but it's like super scary, and I need to see a doctor because I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up like the girl in the Notebook. I should start journaling now.
Oh, you're going to be fine.
And I'm going to have dementia at the age of 40. So if you see me like driving the wrong way down the road and thinking that I'm chasing a cat that I don't own, that's why. Yeah. Anyways, me and Mom like looked at each other and decided, no, we're not doing any of this Mary Kay bullshit. We're on a cruise. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want. So we literally spent the entire cruise like dodging Karens with the talk to your manager haircut and their red and pink blazers.
Oh my God. The blazers on the cruise ship?
Oh yeah, they were in full Mary Kay gear.
Oh my God. They
all had their little bee pins on. They were all like, anytime they walked, they were doing their little clapping and they're like, oh my God, we're going to win a Cadillac. Like all of them would break out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, all of them would break out into the song Pink Cadillac at any moment.
This literally sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. So that's
Like an
why
actual nightmare.
we spent the entire time dodging them. If we saw anybody in a red sport coat, regardless of who it was, it could be like, a bartender just happened to be wearing red and we're like, whoop, dip out of that real quick.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So anytime that's what we spent the majority doing. Like we were supposed to eat dinner at like the Mary Kay table and we're like, I'm not even gonna go in that dining room. We're gonna dine at the little cafe instead. Cause fuck that
Wow.
noise. Yeah. So
So, I mean, like, if they had seen you, what were they gonna do? Like, try to like make you pay the difference, like the discount that you got? Or were they gonna try to like make you pay that back because
no.
you
No, I
did
mean
attend the seminars?
no, we still paid for it. They weren't going to do anything. There wouldn't be any repercussions, but I didn't want to get stuck in a, hey, where were you? I didn't see your beautiful smiling face in the seminar. You're not going to get your pin if you don't really work hard.
Oh
Like,
my God, shoot me! Like, wow, that
yeah,
literally sounds terrible. Fuck that.
exactly. So I was trying to avoid that at all cost and enjoy myself. Yeah, so we sailed on the Enchantment of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. And it is an older boat. You can tell the majority of the people there were about 85. They had their shuffleboard. There was like a nightclub for teens, but it was always empty.
Aw.
The majority of the room that was always the most busy was the casino because you've got these like old ass people smoking their cigars, sitting at their penny machines all day long on the open seas. Like, you can
Wow.
do that in Vegas.
Yep.
Why are you on a boat?
Because international waters.
Yeah, there is that. No duty. What? Duty
Mm-hmm.
free.
Yep.
So, yeah, so that was the majority of the time on the boat, as I've said a million times, was dodging Mary Kay, mombies. And then
Yep.
if we weren't doing that, okay, so we were avoiding certain people while we were also stalking a certain person as well. It was really creepy now that I look back to it, like extremely cringy and very stalkerish. But there was the entertainment manager guy, and he would like host all of the things. So if there was like a magic show, he was hosting that. There were little games that were around. So, the game where you put a balloon in between two people and you have to like try to pop it between you so it looks like you're humping.
Yeah.
Yes, they played that game. There was some game where it was kind of like bingo, but you had to pull something out of your purse that started with a specific letter. And mind you, this was 10 years ago. I just remember it ending in a parade around the room. It was like an auditorium. People were marching in a parade around the outskirts of the room in their underwear.
Oh,
I
okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's just what I remember from 10 years ago. So I don't remember what that was about. But this guy, he was a cute little guy, and I don't remember his name, but he was a little short redhead and he was super adorable. And me and mom were like, he is the coolest person on this entire boat. So we literally did every single thing that he hosted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we followed him throughout the entire thing. I don't know. I think he called on us once for like to play one of the games. I can't remember. And ever since then, we were like, oh my God, I'm going to hang out with him. He's so cool. We know nobody, but we're going to stalk this guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
exactly. And like, that was the entirety of the boat. That, and I remember we got up and went to the hot tub at like 2 a.m. because we thought that was cool. So,
Like spend a bunch of time at the pool?
no, I'm
Really?
not. One, both of us crisp up really quickly. So laying out by the pool is an invitation to skin cancer.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's not a thing that I do often. And I mean, if I'm going to be in a pool, I want to be submerged in like a lazy river or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my deal. So we spent most of the time inside doing activities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they had like beads and jewelry making and how to fold the towel animals and
Yeah, they
stuff like
had literally everything. I was like blown away by how much stuff they had.
Yeah, you're not going to get bored on a cruise ship.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I know that it's like, oh, well, you're stuck on this boat with all these people. What are you going to do for fun? You can't leave. It doesn't feel like that. If you
No.
can't even tell you're on a boat unless you're on the edge or on one of the top floors. You don't even know.
Yeah, I never ran out of things to do. I mean there was pretty much every day there was like stuff that I wanted to do that I didn't have time to because there was all this other stuff going on.
Right,
There was just they keep you entertained for sure.
right. Well, and then if we weren't on the boat, we were at the ports.
Mhm.
Our first port was Key West, which was a bummer in two ways because one, we docked at Key West at like 10 a.m. and it was dead. There were like 4 humans on the whole island that were awake because Key West is a party island and they wake up at like 7 o'clock in the afternoon and they party all night and party hard and then they sleep all throughout the day.
Hmm.
So it was
They're weird.
dead. Yeah. Yeah, Key West was completely dead. The excursion that we paid for was like a tour of Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville because it's the first one that was ever built and it was like really cool and they had like a Margaritaville museum and everything. And when we got there, it was closed for renovations.
Fuck
So
that.
I know we didn't even get to do our excursion. So they did refund it for us. And while we were there, they were like, is there anything else you guys want to do? And we're like, there's really nothing to do here. So we just literally walked from one end of the island to the other and back. We walked the entire island of Key West. And the only thing really that we did, I know that I got a slice of key lime pie dipped in chocolate on a stick. And I saw a recipe book for how to eat iguana, and that made me really sad because I had my pet iguana at home. I'm like, I
Aw.
can't eat him. But apparently, they're like an invasive species down in Key West that people are like encouraged to hit them and eat them like squirrels.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is so sad.
That
Now,
is sad.
yeah. And then there was this guy that was just standing outside of a store with a big macaw on his shoulder. And I got to stand there and talk to the pretty parrot. And that was pretty much it. Then we got back on the boat. that was
Wow.
that was Key West. It was, you
Kind of a
know,
disappointment.
it was very disappointing. So I don't ever want to go back to Key West. That has nothing for me.
Not even like at night.
No, I'm not a big party, club rave girl. There's no glow sticks for me unless I'm in a pool by myself. Yeah. That's something else you missed. At our 4th of July pool party, we filled the pool with glow sticks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so you missed that. Be
Well,
be
I was in the middle
jealous.
of the ocean.
Yeah, there's that. We could have filled the ocean with glow sticks. Oh wait, it's plastic. It's already full.
Right.
Yeah, sad face. Womp womp. Um so then our next port was Cozumel, Mexico, which I mean it was okay. I guess it's just because the excursion that we chose. We did a tour of the tequila place, I guess the tequila farm, since they're
Mhm.
growing the agave plant.
Yep.
And we saw where the agaves were planted. We saw the whole process of turning it into tequila. There was a tequila tasting at the end of it. And for some reason, in the middle of this place, there was like a cultural center of Mexico where it had like some traditional Mexican art and a little bit of history of Mexico. And then it had these like bigger than little models of the Aztec ruins. I'd say they were about the size of a good size Barbie playhouse.
Hmm.
And it was all of the, uh, what are they, like Chichen Itza and all the little Mayan and Aztec ruins that everybody goes to Mexico to see. They're
Right.
all there. So what it was an opportunity for these lame ass people to like squat down on their knees and get a good angle and make it look like they went to these grand places.
Oh, that's just cheating.
It is. So it was just kind of really weird to have this strange Mexican cultural heritage site in the middle of this tequila factory.
Hmm.
But I remember our tour guide's name was Jorge, and
Of course.
he was super funny. He was really nice and funny. We took a regular school bus from the cruise ship to this tour, and he was telling us that the reason everything is below 4 feet tall in Cozumel, I mean, I'm serious. When you get off the boat, their palm trees, you are taller than their palm trees.
Yeah, everything's
They're
miniature.
Yeah, everything is so tiny, including the people. And I mean, I'm sure the people, that's just hereditary. I mean, that's the Mexican people are very short in stature. It's just how it is. Just like, I mean, who's considered really tall? What the German
Amazon people,
ladies?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Amazons, German swim team, like
Yeah.
big people. They're just notoriously small people. And he made the joke that I will always remember. He was like, well, you know why the palm trees and us people are so short? It's because of these hurricanes. Every time we start growing, one of these hurricanes comes and just blows us all over, and we don't get a chance to grow again. So
Wow.
I know, poor guy. I thought it was really
Prop,
funny.
props to Jorge. He tried.
Yeah, he tried growing, but you know. So that's pretty much it for my cruise. After Cozumel, we got back on the boat. We didn't really do much else. I bought this really cheap ring that turned my finger green because I was like, I've got to have something off the boat. We took a picture with like a background of pirates or something, and I have no idea where that picture went.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, mom's got to have it somewhere, one would
Well,
think.
yeah, if it's the one that the professional photographer took, I mean, those were expensive. We were gonna buy ours, but good God, it was like $22 for one picture.
Yeah, just for the 8 by 10.
Yeah, I was like, fuck that,
Yeah.
because
It's
I'm cheap.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, things aren't 100% cheap on the ship if you're paying for something. But we were on Royal Caribbean, so what they do is if you do incur any charges, then they all just charge it to your room or whatever, and then when
Hmm.
you return, then you go and like pay your bill at the end.
Yeah,
And
that's how it was on Carnival.
yeah, I think we each had one or two adult beverages. And I really the rings that we purchased, she got one too, and I think that our total came up to like $45 maybe,
Oh
and
my God.
everything else we did on the cruise was completely free because we got these cups. They're kind of like when you go to a theme park and you get these refillable cups for 15.99 or whatever, and then you can refill them all day.
Yeah.
It was like that. I've got it up in my cabinet. It's it was like $25 and you got unlimited soda in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that way we got unlimited soda, and then we just didn't eat at any of the super fancy steakhouses or anything.
Yeah, we didn't do that either.
Yeah, so there was no point in that. But that's pretty much it. We got back and got home and never went on another one until hopefully next year.
Oh, dude, for sure. We are for sure going next year. I don't care if I have to go by myself. I will go next year.
Of
I would like to
course.
go on another one this year. I'd like to be on a ship right now, but gotta work and shit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I bet it's not something that you ever really thought you'd be doing until like you started planning it and did it.
yeah, I mean, like it was somebody sat down at me and Chris's wedding and was like, "Oh man, we should have a family vacation. We never see each other except when somebody's getting married or when somebody drops dead. Let's plan a family vacation." So they planned this cruise, and I was like, I mean, okay. And I mean, I got on there and I was just like, holy crap. this is amazeballs. I want to
Right.
do this every day of my life. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
everything was so bougie. And I mean, maybe I'm just little redneck girl that's never seen anything nice before, but I mean, I felt pretty bougie. I mean, we're in the restaurant and I'm looking at the stuff on this menu and I'm like, "Holy fuck, I can't even pronounce some of this stuff." And we're not even in the steakhouse that you have to pay extra for. We're in like just the normal dining room where everybody eats at the same time. And I'm like, "Prosciutto truffles? Ox
Nice.
tongue?" I ordered it. I ordered all of it. I mean, and they said that the portions were really small, that so you can order a bunch of stuff. I mean, I swear there was one night I ordered 2 appetizers, 3 entrees, and 2 desserts. Not even kidding. And I ate every bit of it. Like, I'm probably a good 10 pounds heavier coming back from this cruise because it was nothing but food all the time. And it was amazing. I mean, freaking the prosciutto truffles, I mean, impeccable. Ox tongue, I mean, that's not something that you would normally try, but I was like, okay, I have to try it. It was amazing. Tasted like pot roast or something. I don't know. It
Mm.
was really good. Um,
Well,
yeah, it
well,
was whew, so
right.
yummy.
Hey, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When CJ and I were trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps that people like to listen to? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use too. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. We use Anchor because we live over an hour away and it brings us together as if we're in the same room. The sound quality is better than Skype and more reliable too. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing so, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join us and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Take
So
it away.
shout out Anchor. Thanks
Right?
for uh, thanks for letting us do our podcast.
What?
So yeah, back to bougie stuff. So I'm sure everybody knows you get like little towel animals and shit on the cruise ships. And I was like, I mean, I wonder if you can like request certain animals. Because after like the third day, I was like, okay, they're just making whatever animal they want to. I don't know if everybody gets the same one or what, but I was like, I really want a sloth. So I requested a sloth. The dude made me a sloth. I mean,
Boom.
that was it. All I did was say it, and he just folded it into existence. It was amazing. Um, so there's always like there's bands, game shows, like constantly something to do. So there was this main lobby, and there was this band that was there. Seemed like pretty steadily. I think we were on a 7 day. I bet they played 5 out of the 7 days. Um, and so I would go down there and listen to them because they were pretty good. And there's a stage and there's a bunch of chairs and everything and tables, and then there's a bar. And the lady was the lead singer of the band. She was trying to order a drink from the stage, and she yelled it into the microphone, and she ordered honey jack. And I was like, what? Honey jack? I was like, do you mean Jack Honey? And she was like, oh, is that what it's called? And I was like, oh, honey,
Oh.
clearly you have never been to Tennessee. Yes, it's Jack Honey, not Honey Jack. Now you know. So that was something. She kind of knew right away I was from Tennessee.
You uneducated swine.
I'm right. I was like, I mean, like you live in Tennessee, learn to count to 10, you learn your ABCs, and then you learn all about Jack Daniels. It's just understood. It's just what you do. So I went to the spa and I got a massage, and they give you this real fancy plush robe, And so when I was done with my massage, they were like, I thought I had to give the robe back, and they were like, no, you can keep it. So I was like, hell yeah. So my bougie ass self, I didn't even change out of my robe. I walked right out of the spa and walked to the buffet in my spa robe. I got a plate full of food, and I went into the auditorium and watched the game show in my spa robe. And nobody said a damn thing. It was just normal. Like, okay, this chick is eating like 25 pounds of food in the auditorium in her spa robe. And it was totally fine. It was amazing. I can't even, mind blown. Back to the restaurant that night after my awesome massage, I was looking at the menu, and it was kind of like, they kind of like had themes each night. And so this night was seafood night. And I just straight up, like, I just shut my menu and I told him, I want one of everything.
Nice.
And he brought me one of everything. I had lobster, bass, redfish, crab, and shrimp. All of
No
it.
crab cakes?
No, they didn't have crab cakes. It was crab legs that night. They had crab cakes another night, and I did order those. And they also had salmon cakes, and I ordered salmon cakes. And they
Nice.
also had lobster cakes, and I ordered those as well.
I remember that I got lobster bisque for the first time on the cruise ship, and guess what I had for dinner tonight?
Lobster bisque.
I did. So that just happened to be
so good.
ironic.
I actually had that for dinner Sunday night.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Did you get it from Walmart too?
No, I got it from Longhorn.
Oh, well, damn. I'm cheap as hell. The Walmart one is good. It's from their marketplace.
Oh,
Like
well, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I love
Anyways,
lobster bisque. It's
yeah, we
amazing.
took a hard left at Lobster Bisque. My bad.
No,
Back
that's
on track.
fine. I love lobster. Speaking of lobster, in one of our, I think it was Cayman Islands. So we found this restaurant that was right on the ocean, and it had like a bar overlooking the ocean, and they would let you like climb up onto the bar and stand on it and then jump off into the water. So we're like sitting there, and we got up onto the bar and jumped into the ocean, and I'm just floating there, and the waiter comes over and like kind of leans her head over the bar, and she's like, can I get y'all anything? And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be bougie as fuck, I'm gonna order lobster from the ocean.
Nice.
So I'm laying there in the Caribbean Sea, and I was like, can I have some lobster, please? And she was like, yeah, coming right up. Boom. Dude, how many people can say that they were in the Caribbean Sea and they ordered lobster and they brought it to them in the sea?
And the fact that you say Caribbean instead of Caribbean kills me.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean.
They don't say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
You
Okay,
uncultured swine.
You uncultured swine. Look it up.
Yeah.
Whenever they said the trailer for Pirates of the Caribbean, it was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay,
Not
well, they're
Pirates
wrong.
of the Caribbean.
Well, they're wrong.
I'm just going by what they say. That's where
You can't believe everything on the internet.
It wasn't on the internet. It was on TV.
You can't. Yeah. Anyways,
back to food. So one night I ordered veal, rabbit, and filet in the same sitting. And I sat there and stuffed my face the whole time. I ate the whole damn thing. It was amazing. Like, they were so nice. They didn't even judge you. They weren't like, oh my God, this chick just ordered 7 entrees. They don't care. They'll bring it. They'll bring it with a smile on their face. And you know what? They said, my pleasure. Carnival is the Chick-fil-A of the sea. It's the chicken of the sea. It is.
Okay.
It is. Every single thing, everything you ask them, they're always like, yeah, my pleasure. Like, they're so nice. They don't care.
I just heard chicken of the sea, and I'm like, is that tuna? Like, why are you comparing the cruise ship to tuna? What is wrong with you?
I said Carnival is the Chick-fil-A of the sea. Yeah,
I didn't catch that at all. Sorry. Yeah. I should be paying attention to our own podcast, maybe.
You should. Yeah, you probably should. But yeah, they're so nice. They're just anything you ask them. Like, they didn't care that I called room service at 2 a.m. and asked for a bucket of ice. They brought it.
I love it.
You want to know why I needed a bucket of ice?
To chill your bougie ass champagne?
No. Actually, I had already drank my champagne by then. I drank my champagne the first night, straight from the bottle on the
Nice.
balcony. So they give you like this little brochure every morning that tells you all the shit going on the cruise ship.
Yeah.
And so me and Chris saw this thing. They were having like a singles mixer at one of the bars, and I was like, "Oh my god, it would be so much fun. We could take off our wedding rings and go, and
Oh, and pick
everybody
each
would
other
think,
up.
yeah, everybody would think that we don't know each other, and we could be like, look, this singles mixer is working like a charm. Like we
That
pick each
is the
other up,
cutest.
like and so so um, I went to try to take my wedding ring off, and apparently, since I ordered like 7 appetizers that night, I guess I got really fat and I couldn't get my wedding ring off. So
Oh, no.
I called room service and ordered a bucket of ice so that I could stick my hand in the bucket of ice and hopefully unswell my finger enough to get my wedding ring off. Well, I couldn't. So we went down to the singles mixer anyways and pretended like we were picking each other up to have an affair because we were both still wearing our wedding rings.
That is adorable.
And it was amazing.
I'm
It was
sure
so
that
funny.
gave like a little hint of excitement and
Yeah, there's people looking at
thrill.
us like, well, that was fucking fast. Like, these two people have been sitting at this bar for like 3 minutes, and all of a sudden they get picked up and they're already leaving, going back to their room. What the hell? What am I doing wrong?
Right?
Like,
You guys should have
for
just
real.
like started making out right there in the club. Just
Yeah,
like
we should have.
threw stuff off the table, hopped up there, really going at it.
Next time. Next year.
There you go.
Oh, speaking of going at it, we were at our last port in Cozumel. We were at this like all-inclusive adults only resort type thing, and we just casually struck up a conversation with this older couple that was there, and we were talking and cutting up and everything. And they said that the night before, they said they were on this cruise with their whole entire family, including their daughter and their daughter's husband, who are in the room next to them. And so they're like, yeah, we had just gotten back from dinner. We're like sitting in our room and we start hearing something. And we realize, oh my God, it's our daughter and her husband in the next room fucking. And she's like, as if that wasn't bad enough, she heard her son-in-law say, put a finger in my butt.
Yes.
Like,
No kink
just,
shaming.
I mean, but I mean, like, the dad is like hearing this guy say that to his daughter and is just
Oh
like,
God.
oh God. So she said she picked up the phone and she called them on the phone and she told them that she could hear them, and she said, we haven't seen them at all today. They're just
Yeah.
completely avoiding us because they're so embarrassed. I mean, I would be too. Like, that's yikes. That's
Mm.
I don't know about that. That's cringy.
Yeah, no thanks.
Oh, and at that adults only resort, they
Mhm.
had a masseuse on the beach. I went into this little hut and I got a massage on the beach. Like, I
Wow.
could hear the waves and I could hear drinks being poured, and all the workers were making salsa and guacamole from scratch, and it was amazing. I was so bougie. It was awesome.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, and I ordered champagne from room service, and I answered the door in a white silk robe and high heels with feathers on them. Yeah, I was just
That's a
like,
dream that you've been having for years.
do you have any idea how long I've been waiting to do that?
Approximately 27 years, I'm thinking.
Maybe even more, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it was like, I can't even tell you how much fun it was. We just, well, I don't think Chris had as much fun as I did because he was kind of seasick a little bit. But
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was a blast. I can't wait to go back. Although I will say, I was not impressed with Jamaica.
No,
It was no. We got off
it
the
wasn't
ship.
Jamaican you crazy.
No, it really wasn't. We got off the ship for like 40 minutes and then got right back on. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. I've never been out of the country before, but I kind of expected like we could just like get off the ship and like, walk like 100 yards and be at a beach and like chill on the beach, like with the ship right there. And there was no beach. It was not
Wow.
like sandy, like tropical oasis like you think it is. I don't know. It was odd. And when you get off the ship in Montego Bay, there's like this big, I don't even know what it is. It's just this big concrete building that you walk through, which is like where they check your ship card to get back on the ship. And you go outside of that, and there's like this tiny little stretch of these little huts where they're selling all this random stuff. Like they've got all kinds of pot smoking stuff and tie dye shit,
Oh yeah, it's
magnets,
Jamaica. Bob
mat,
Marley. It's kind of
yeah,
its thing.
all that kind of stuff. Just weird, like stuff you'd find in a head shop or something. And and then there was one hut that had a bunch of really cheap liquor, so I did buy a $6 bottle of rum, which we opened this past weekend because you can't drink it on the ship. They don't give it to you till the last night.
Right.
But we opened it and drank it at the river this past weekend, and oh my gosh, I got my $6 worth for sure.
Nice.
It was strong.
Gotta love that duty free.
Yeah, I do love duty free. That was awesome. There was a lot of really cheap stuff, and I was trying to be frugal, not go like too crazy. And I mean, I'm actually proud of us. Like we came back with like $160 that we intended to spend while we were there. So I was like,
Nice.
okay. We didn't get the drink pass this time. We were just trying to see how it went without it. So we each spent just shy of $200 in alcohol for the
Oh
whole week.
wow, alcohol alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
But then
think
again,
there
y'all are
was
drinkers. I'm not, so.
Well, I mean, that was like my entire bill, but I didn't really buy anything else. Like, I think there was, well, when I went to the little seafood shack and I bought the uh, lobster cakes,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of those little restaurant places that you had to pay for. It was like $8. And I bought a pair of sunglasses in the gift shop that was like $20. So besides those two
Jesus.
things, all the rest of that, almost $200 was alcohol.
This
So
surprises no one.
and I brought 2 bottles of my own champagne and I snuck in beer
How did you get through like customs in the airport and everything like that?
very stealthily.
Good Lord. Dude,
Although Chris's mom's boyfriend filled up a gallon jug with vodka because you're allowed to bring a gallon jug of water if you have a CPAP machine.
hmm.
And so I don't know how he did it, but he heated the bottle up somehow enough to slip the cap off without breaking the seal. He dumped the water out, put the vodka in, put the cap back on, and then froze it, which sealed the cap back up again.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to go through customs like separately because I thought, okay, well, they're in, Chris's mom and her boyfriend are like in their 50s. Maybe if they're not with like young party looking people, maybe they won't be so suspicious. So we separated from them and we went through first and everything was fine. And then they went through and the lady pulled out the gallon jug and she just shook the shit out of it.
Oh
And she
God.
was, and I mean, you can tell by the bubbles, it's not water. And she was like, "This is not water." And he was like, "It's sealed up." And she undid the seal and she goes, "No, it's not." And
Oh my God.
she took the cap off, smelled it, and threw it away.
Oh
A
no.
whole gallon of vodka gone.
Alcohol abuse.
I was so sad. Like, because we got through customs and we like waited on them. And so we saw them come through the door and they like shook their head, like, no, we didn't make it through. And I was like, oh my God, no. Because that was going to be like for all of us to share. But I managed to get my beer through. So that was
That's what
decent.
matters.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't last very long. It was only 12 beers, but, it was better than nothing. Because there was one night that Chris wasn't feeling good, and so he kind of went to the room to lay down, and it was one of the first nights on the ships. So I was like, I'm just gonna like walk around and explore. And I walked around, and I put one of the beers in one of my little Yeti cups to go with me, and I drank it, and I was like, all another one, but I don't want to go all the way back to the room to get it. I'll just buy it. Like, I mean, how much could it possibly be? Like, okay, I'm expecting, like, when I'm downtown Nashville, it's like, $6 for a long neck. Nope, $10.
Of course.
$10 for one beer. So I was like, okay. So I snuck on $120 worth of beer. So I
Nice.
felt a lot better about it after that.
Right?
So it was amazing. That's all I got. I can't tell you enough how amazing it was. I can't even wait to go back.
Well, that sounds, I mean, we do have plans for next year. I think that we couldn't make things work to make this like one epic cruise with all of our families. So we're probably taking 2 separate cruises, but that just means 2 separate sets of stories.
Yes.
So there will be a Cruisin' Part 2 come up sometime late 2020. So go ahead and put that on your calendars to check in next year. But I'm not saying that, like, don't listen to us until next year because that's just dumb.
We're awesome.
Yeah. We're funny now. Well, what did you learn, CJ?
Let's see. What did I learn? I learned that stateroom walls are extremely thin, so don't ask for a finger in the butt unless you're comfortable with everyone in a 3-room radius to know all about it.
Nice.
And always try food that sounds disgusting because it's probably amazing. I also tried escargot, which is snails, and it was so tasty.
Nice. I learned that you can get yourself some lobster delivered directly to you while you're in the Caribbean Sea. And I didn't even mention this because I forgot about it until now, but I learned that the shower in your interior stateroom is nothing more than a 6-inch rain nook.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's tiny. So until next time, what are we discussing next episode?
Tourists in Nashville.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of things off my head that Ethan actually mentioned just the other day, so that is timely.
I mean, there's like tourists. I mean, Nashville is like mainly tourists nowadays. It didn't used to be that way, but it is now. And
Yeah.
like some people just completely just don't know what they're doing when they get here, and it's really funny. Just especially if they're from like really far up north or other countries. Sometimes they think it's something that it's not, and it's just hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, Nashville nowadays has just turned into, it's been super gentrified and it's all hipsters that are moving from the big city to here because they want a slower pace of life, but still a big city. So we're being flooded with places with like boba tea and poke bowls and just all of these hipster places.
I
So
don't know what any of those words mean.
yeah, it's all, you wouldn't even know. We've got a ton of people, especially in like the West Nashville side of things. You see the guys with man buns typing on their typewriters at Starbucks. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So we'll have some touristy stories next episode. But until then, remember to always say yes to adventures, for they become stories, and in the end, that's all we are. Good night.
Peace.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.